to today's news conference on French language training in the anglophone sector. Bonjour tout le monde et bienvenue à cette conférence de presse sur l'enseignement.
And welcome to this press conference on proposed French language for education. Mr. Bill Hogan is here with the Department of
Hogan, Minister of Education and Early Childhood Development. Before I turn things over to Minister Hogan, I would like to ask everyone online to ensure your microphones are placed on mute. Je demande aux personnes qui sont en ligne d'assurer de bien désactiver.
I ask everyone to put their, all those online to put the microphones on mute. Monsieur le Ministre. Merci.
Happy I am to be here this morning as a father and as a grandfather and looking forward to building our world-class education system. This is a big but important goal, one that is at the center of everything we do at the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development. As Canada's only bilingual province, our goal is to be able to communicate with each other in both official languages, no matter where we are in New Brunswick. Today, I am here to announce a very positive step forward in providing a high-quality French language instruction for all New Brunswick students. We are introducing a proposed framework for French second language learning, which will address the needs across the anglophone sector. Nous voulons que
we all members of our communities be able to have good conversations and significant interactions. This means that they have to be able to express themselves with confidence and with an appreciation of our two official languages and our two cultures.
The current way of doing things has worked well for some students. The fact of the matter is, it hasn't been the case for each student. Understanding this reality, the Department of Education and Early Childhood Development has been examining ways by which we can help students within the anglophone sector achieve, at a minimum, conversational French by graduation. The proposed New Brunswick Innovative Immersion Program Framework aims to provide students with early, high-quality learning using a balanced approach. Here's what we are proposing. Starting in fall 2023, kindergarten and grade 1 students will spend 50% of their day learning in French through exploratory learning and French language arts. The other half of the day will be spent in English learning subjects like math and literacy. Through the model, students will be able to immerse themselves in French from a young age, interacting with their peers and exploring their surroundings and environment in French. Along with practicing oral communication, which we know is so important to language learning, students will also have opportunities to support language learning through reading and writing. Ce cadre proposé présente de nombreux avantages.
This framework presents many advantages.
For schools, for teachers, and educators. Individual school communities will be able to look at the resources at their disposal to provide French learning opportunities through French language arts and various engaging activities. Cela inclut une analyse des activités.
This is the type of activities that they will be able to consider the activities that work best in their own particular environment.
Math, reading, and writing are taught in English so that students are supported in getting the foundational skills they need for their long-term success. The proposed framework will also address very real concerns surrounding class imbalances and streaming in the anglophone sector. Comme vous savez peut-être, je fais partie.
As you perhaps know, I've been part of the educational system for 35 years, and the problems of class composition have been a recurring problem over the last 20 years.
When we look at how learning plans and behavior support plans are dispersed throughout the anglophone school system, an overwhelming number of children with additional learning, social, emotional, or behavior needs are placed in English prime classes. While we know there is no singular solution for these issues, our proposed framework will help to alleviate some of the pressure by moving away from a system that streams students into two separate paths. Instead, they will be in one system where every student is supported. I want to be clear. What we are proposing right now is a framework for students entering kindergarten and grade 1 in the 2023-2024 school year. I know this will leave many families with questions, both about the future for these students and what the plan is for students who are already in the system. Here's what families need to know. For families with students entering kindergarten and grade 1 next year, as students move through the system, we will continue to meet the needs of learners through oral, reading, and writing learning activities. While the roadmap is still likely to change, we believe they should be able to continue 50-50 English-French learning through to grade 5 with the end goal to be able to continue to explore opportunities for more advanced French learning in the high school years, based on their goals and interests and what they want to accomplish. By introducing students to immersive learning at such an early age, we will be building their confidence and inclination to pursue more language learning opportunities in later years.
By familiarizing pupils with immersion learning in such an early age, we're giving them confidence and encourage them to take other learning opportunities in the years to come.
Possible, we will continue working with our partners to explore more opportunities for our high school students. Whether these are access to university courses, experiential learning, or in-person or virtual co-op opportunities, we're going to continue to work to make sure there are expanded chances for students to learn and practice their French. Now, for families with students who are already in the existing French immersion program, students who are entering grades 2 through 12 will remain on their current education path. In other words, if you're currently in the French immersion program, you'll continue on. For those who are in grade 2 and up participating in the LLO, or Language Learning Opportunity Initiative, you'll be able to continue on that path as well. All of this was designed with the idea of minimizing disruptions for students who are already in the education system. Tout cela a été conçu dans l'idée de...
The objective was to minimize any disturbances in for pupils who are already enrolled in the school system.
In some cases, this will represent a shift. That is why the proposed framework will provide flexibility for schools who would not be able to meet all criteria to roll out fully in the 2023-2024 school year. That said, these schools will still be required to prepare to reach a 50-50 English-French learning for kindergarten and grade 1 students within the next 2 years. I would also like to take a moment to address the idea that this whole process has been rushed and no one has been consulted. That couldn't be further from the truth. We've looked at experts, we have examined reports, reviews, and research that was carried out over the last few decades. We've had numerous conversations with partners and stakeholders over the past few years. This past fall, we carried out engagement sessions with educators and students across the system to get more input from them on the framework. Toutes ces réactions ont été intégrées dans la...
All these feedback was integrated in the design of what we're proposing to you today.
Students start learning French, the easier it is for them to adapt and develop a lifelong desire and appreciation for learning multiple languages. This model also allows us to maximize resources within the system to make immersive French language learning accessible to more anglophone sector students. As part of our work, we examined a project carried out in the Anglophone School District North in the late 90s and early 2000s, where they had great success, and that was a 50% English and 50% French immersion model. The grade 12 oral proficiency assessment results of these participating early immersion students were among the highest achieved in the province, with 97% of students reaching the conversational level we are pursuing with our proposed model. This result was fairly consistent with the outcome of early immersion students following the 90%, 10% model. The results of students in that project even outperformed last year's graduating cohort of early immersion students. This proposed New Brunswick Innovative Immersion Program also aims to make changes gradually. It uses a methodical approach that benefits the entire school system and helps support proper planning and implementation. À l'heure actuelle, le secteur
At the present time, this anglophone sector is confronted with several challenges. At the present time, less than half of the pupils in our anglophone system achieve a level of conversational competence.
of those students who do not enroll in French immersion, or who do enroll in French immersion, 20% drop out before they finish. Through our student surveys, we know that many leave because they find it difficult to continue learning subjects like math in French, or the offerings don't allow them to get the credits they need for their post-secondary studies. On top of all that, a third of our schools in the Anglophone sector don't even offer French immersion programs. Over the years, we've heard from many families who feel disadvantaged on this front because they live in rural communities. That's not fair, and we are committed to changing this. We want to ensure Anglophone students have the opportunity to learn French, no matter where they live and no matter how they learn. I'm sure you've noticed I've been calling the New Brunswick Innovative Immersion Program a proposed framework. That's because we still need your input before anything is finalized. Your voice is important to us. We are launching an online survey today where you will have the opportunity to provide feedback and tell us what you like and don't like about what we are proposing. Votre parole est importante pour nous.
Your voice is important to us. That's why we're launching an online survey today, which will give the opportunity to provide feedback and tell us what you like and what you don't like about what we are proposing.
Of January, I'll be hitting the road with the department staff to visit each district and talk to students, teachers, family, and the public about our vision for second language learning in our Anglophone system. We want to hear from you. We want to know about the strengths and the obstacles of what we're proposing from your perspective. Are there any additional challenges on the path ahead? Is there room for improvement? Where are the opportunities? A full list of public consultations will be made available online and will be included in today's news release. We will have 2 virtual sessions for those who are unable to come out and join in person. We will also ensure families and teachers are provided information through their local school district. A link to the survey will also be on our website and in the news release. We will continue listening to New Brunswickers in the weeks to come before we finalize the framework in late winter, early spring. Given the multitude of thoughts and perspectives we heard come out through the media over the past 2 months, we truly hope to hear from you in this final round of consultations. Now is the time to have your voice heard. I'll say it again, your voice is important to us. Before we move to questions from the media, let me just say at the department, we truly believe being able to speak multiple languages gives our students social, cultural, academic, and cognitive benefits and opportunities that will follow them for the rest of their lives. Le cadre proposé contribuera.
The proposed framework will contribute not only to inspire our pupils to have much more confidence in speaking French, but also will encourage within the population in general a greater understanding and appreciation of Francophone and Acadian culture.
System to be enriched by learning French in a fun, authentic way and continue learning and engaging with all New Brunswickers through school and beyond. Thank you. Merci.
Thank you very much, Minister. Merci beaucoup, Minister Hogan. Each reporter will have 1 question. You have the right to pose your question in the official language of your choice. Just to let you know, I will be alternating between members of the media who are present with us in the media room and those online. Nous allons maintenant procéder aux questions.
We will now go to journalist questions. You will have the right to one question. You can ask your question in the official language of your choice, and I will inform you that I will go back and forth between the journalists who are here in the room and those who are there online.
Officials have told us that there's no cookie cutter approach. This is flexible. Different schools can adapt to it in different ways. If that's possible, why is it not possible to come up with a program that ramps up the conversational French for all, deals with streaming, and still gives families who want it the sort of immersion level 90% classroom time in French?
Well, I think what we have in our anglophone system and what we have in our education system is an inclusive system. We believe in inclusion, and this is part of our path forward. So it's not a question that students won't be able to achieve a high level of French in the future. They will be, if they choose to follow that path. So what we want at a minimum is for all students to achieve a conversational level of French. And what that means is to carry on a basic conversation in French at a very minimum. And we want that for all of our students. So this is the reason why.
Why the exclusion of immersion level if those students want it?
Well, as we move through the school years from kindergarten to grade 12, a more immersive opportunity will be made available for students who wish to pursue that, the same way that as we have students that would like to have greater enrichment in mathematics, like taking calculus or IB courses or science, and we'll have the same opportunities available for the French second language.
Thank you. John Chelbeck, Brunswick News.
Right now, there's a shortage of teachers, or at least there's a high level of absenteeism. In the Francophone South, they just sent a note out to parents saying, we might have to cancel classes because we can't fill them all with sub-teachers. How are you going to possibly staff up all this French language instruction? It sounds like you're going to need a lot more French teachers.
Well, we do need teachers, and it is a very difficult time of the year when you're talking about the requirement for substitute teachers. It's a long stretch in the school year. We're coming up to just before Christmas. Teachers will get a good break over the Christmas holidays, that much deserved good break. The fact that we know that we have a challenge in terms of recruitment of French teachers. We think that we're probably going to need somewhere around 60 additional teachers, and we've already started that process of recruitment.
Thank you. Julien Garneau-Carrier avec CHIU TV.
Alexandre Boudreau, Acadie Nouvelle. Earlier we heard, in fact, that there's an effort, recruitment effort. There's an effort of recruitment in place for the Anglophone sector in order to have Francophone teachers in the system. But we were told still that if there are positions that are open for teachers, let's say a Francophone teacher leaves the Francophone system to get to the Anglophone system, you can't prevent them from going from one system to the next. So how guarantee there won't be any competition regarding recruitment for both systems? Well, right now we need teachers in both systems, so we don't want to create competition between both systems. For young teachers who have a D contract, they're looking for a new opportunity for the following year, either it be on the Anglophone or the Francophone sectors. And even in the Anglophone system, there are many teachers already who have taught French before, who now do something else.
Known each other for a long time. There. Minister, looking at the next 2 years and trying to ensure that some of the schools that might not be able to get this done for kindergartens in particular right away can get this done over time, I guess what exactly is going to change in the next 2 years that's going to make the recruitment issues in these areas radically different? I understand that there's a big recruitment push coming, but how concerned are you that these schools may still not have access to trained teachers in order to make this possible?
We're working hard right now, and I have the greatest amount of confidence that in 2 years' time we'll have all the teachers that we need to deliver this program effectively.
Canada.
Thank you. I'm mentioning that there are public consultations that will be held in January. Who will have the last word regarding that? And when will there be a final plan? Will teachers have enough time to get ready for September? So yes, we will have consultations. I'm very positive about this. I worked closely with a few people today, and we know very well that there are excellent ideas here in our province. If we can integrate a good idea in our framework, we will do that. So this is why it's important to consult the people of New Brunswick further. Vicky Hogarth, CCO.
The success of this program, especially given that it's starting with around grade 1 age students, especially in the short term?
Well, we'll monitor the success of the program the same way we monitor the success of our current program. We'll rely, the first and most important way to know whether or not children are succeeding is through their classroom teachers. So those are the people that we're going to depend on. We'll talk to the schools, the administration. We'll do more focus groups with parents to get more feedback to see if what we're doing needs to be improved.
Canadian Press, Ina.
I've forgotten my name too. I was wondering if you can tell me, Minister, what, according to you, is the main change that you've brought to this program, and why do you think that will make it successful?
So I think the main change is that we're having an inclusive system. We have an inclusive framework that includes, it's going to include all of our students. It's not a streaming program for a small portion of our students. It's for all of our students. Because as a government, what we want is we want to have a bilingual population. We want to have a bilingual anglophone population so that people can be served in the language of their choice right across our entire province. Not only that they can carry on conversations with anyone that they encounter in our province in either official language.
Carolyn Afonso with the Globe and Mail.
Prime Minister, given that the program won't fully roll out for about 2 years, and you say you need 6 additional, I assume, French language teachers, why rush it for the fall?
Well, we're not rushing it for the fall. We've done consultations, and the original plan was to look at changing everything in September 2024, and we want to take a more measured, balanced approach. We do have teachers in the system that we need to identify that currently have the ability to teach French, and we can call upon their expertise. So we're really not rushing. I think we're taking a slow, rational approach by going with grade 1 and kindergarten.
Thank you.
We need about, what we think right now is around 60. We'll firm that number up as we move forward.
Thank you.
That would be for KM1.
CTV, Allison Sampson.
Input, traveling around in January. How long do you think it's going to take to firm up this program based on that input?
So what I said was that by late winter, early spring, we'll have a framework that we've landed on and that we're going to begin with, and we'll move forward from there.
Erica Butler, CHMA, Sackville.
Hi there. I guess I have a question about the light schedule for public consultation on this. It seems like the previous plan, which was set for 2024, had much more public consultation included. Are you concerned that the 60%, more than 60% of parents who chose not to put their students in French immersion are going to push back on this when they have no choice come 2023? And how does that relate? Like this public consultation, I guess I'm not clear on how these 4 meetings, this sort of light schedule gets you buy-in from the public on this.
So we've been consulting for 2 years through various forums, and we've heard what the public has had to say. We've heard that New Brunswickers want to live in a bilingual province where we don't have these language issues all the time, and we're going to continue to do these consultations that we have scheduled. If it's clear that we need to do more consultations in the time, we have time to do that, and we will do that. There's also the online component. So everybody in New Brunswick can send their views in, their point of view in through the online component, or join on the Facebook Live.
Thank you. Pascal Vachon avec TFO.
Oui, bonjour. Je voulais juste savoir.
Yes, good afternoon. Ottawa threatened, in fact, the federal government has threatened, in fact, to take away the funding that would be provided for French immersion. And knowing that the program is not totally an immersion program, do you still plan on receiving that money with the new program? I'll be talking with the Petit-Pas-Taylor minister tonight. I will mention, in fact, what funding level that we need to have this program in place. At the federal level, there are no figures regarding that, but based on Statistics Canada work and what is being measured in the regarding this program is in place for in fact, there's at least a 25% that will be in French immersion. Good afternoon. In the context where teachers are already swamped, so you're asking them to teach in French and in English things that to do some exploratory learning and various components. What do you say to teachers who are already swamped, and especially to reach their goal in next fall? Would you mind repeating your question a little louder, please? Yes? Do you hear me better now? Okay. So in a context where teachers are already swamped with work, they will have additional tasks to teach mathematics and English, for example, or in French. They need to do exploratory learning with pupils. So what do you say to teachers who are already swamped and won't have time to make these changes before next fall? Well, at some point, in fact, we won't change the task that they have right now. Those who teach math and language arts will continue to teach those topics. And for those in French, we'll continue to teach French. So there isn't a request, in fact, to change what is already in place.
Beaucoup.